Alright everyone, it is I, Schrodinger Jazz Star Valentine, and um, today I have a bit of an announcement to make. So, this year, I decided that I will not be doing, Halloween Fright Fest. Mostly because of my tech issue situation, because of, a lot of things going on right now, just because of a lot of different crap that is just, not all that great, and it's just a whole thing. It's just because this year has been a real kicker for me. Not only being forced to restart with a completely new team because of, some things that I was partly responsible for and that others were, partly responsible for. But also because of losing Vixen, because of just a lot of crap that just... This was not our year. I'll just straight up say that. This was not our year. And... yeah, there's just a lot of things going on right now. Some of which I will get into in a later stream. Probably either tomorrow or next week. So yeah. Because of that, we are instead going to be doing, Weird Game Onslaught, where I take a lot of the, more off the beaten path, more bizarre style games in my, library, and pretty much just, glue them together into one big series, and just pretty much do a marathon of those, lasting all the way through Halloween. That's gonna be more my idea. And to start, we're gonna be revisiting a channel legend and old favorite of ours, the Stanley Parable, or more specifically, the remake by, Raven Software. Not, the original Valve and Face Punch version. So yeah, this is gonna be, quite a bit, it's gonna be mostly things you've seen before, or most of you have seen before. Hey Nova Games, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. So yeah, it's mostly just gonna be, classics from my library, all the weirder and more bizarre games that I'm just gonna slam together into a marathon. Alright, Nova. But how you doing? So yeah, let's get into this. Let's actually do this here.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
It's never the end.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them,
Oh,
and in what
nice!
order. This is
Hell
what Employee
yeah!
427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation.
As for me,
Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked,
I'm
frozen
single.
solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
Which, by the way,
But
I
as he
might
came to
say
his
this
wits and
game
regained his
was
senses,
from
he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
back when your local Fox Sting had, a bit more happiness in their life, even though, again, I'm not really a Fox anymore. More on that later, in a later stream.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Oh, what's this? Knowing your city. Huh. Interesting.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Monetize free to play. Yeah, I think that's called play. And thanks, Nova. Alright. Do we go up to the office first, or do we just get this out of the way first? You know,
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
you know what? We'll just get this out of the way.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money.
Oh,
also,
damn!
Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of
this
before
game
it begins to decompose.
can get pretty
Hello?
ridiculous.
Anyone who happens to be nearby, the person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player. It's good to have you on. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Yeah, this game can get...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
And this is not even the nuttiest this game can get. Like, it can get even... Hey, Harry! How you doing? But yeah, it could get even crazier.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
I'm doing good.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Decided to just forego. So yeah, because of all the crap that's going on in my, life and with, you know, the tech issues and everything else, I decided that rather than, you know, doing Halloween Fright Fest, which is pretty much a no-go, just simply a bit, again, because of everything that's been going on with my channel and with, you know, this year in general, I decided that, you know, instead we're gonna do the Weird Game Onslaught, where I take all the weirder titles of my library and play them all in this marathon, pretty much.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered
we'll
for long.
see. We'll see, is all I'm gonna say.
Whoops, nope, never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Nice! Hell yeah! I've been to a couple of Halloween parties, actually, or specifically ones at, Disney when I used to go there.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat. Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
I don't know. I'm just a genius, I guess.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he? Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
What are,
Oh my God. It's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
I don't know, Nova. I stopped asking
Okay,
that
I'm
long
ready.
ago.
I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
But, what are you all doing on, Halloween? If,
All right, I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
Yep.
Of course. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Ain't that the truth? Alright. Final time.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator.
I'm
But the suspense,
currently
the
about
agony
to...
of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's
I'm
the
about
real
to,
thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious.
Well, I'm about to
so
move over
fleeting.
to
Why
Rabbit's
don't we take
design,
this elevator ride nice
pretty
and
soon.
slow?
It is
There we
already
go.
finished.
Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that
And
audiences want is to be shocked
generally
as
it's
loudly and
received a
frequently as
very
possible.
positive
They want
reception
big,
on my
explosive
Discord
moments
server,
flung
so
right in their faces from the very
yeah, we're
moment that things
definitely
get started.
moving forward with
But where's
it.
the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises? To have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal. This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive.
Yeah, I am a kind
That's
person.
why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why, oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh good, we're here. Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
But yeah, I'm one of the nicest people you will meet. Unfortunately, that kindness has been... Yeah, it is fun, Harry. That kindness has been exploited and abused and used against me on many different occasions. The guy who went to Mars, world's healthiest human being, how we did it, the pyramids.
Ah, yes, here it is, just through this door.
World peace, baby. World's first sentient machine. Storyteller, Stanley.
All right, Are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry. You'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get 'em.
Oh, Stanley. Break a leg champ, your boss. Up and down again. Doing great. A conversation with Alexander the Great. The Lord meet and greet. The guy who came up with pizza. This is Stanley Parable Nova. It's a game about narratives, about storytelling, and it's really good. Yeah, Harry. Truth be told, Stanley Parable is one of the less popular games on my channel, even though it is one of the things that, one was played back when your local Fox thing had a lot more happiness in their life. Had a bit more of a stable team. And number two, it did really get an entire era of my channel started.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-worker.
Oh! It's been so long! How you doing? When did I start YouTube? I started way back in 2023. So this channel has been around for
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
3 years now?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire.
Yeah, 3 years.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
I'll be honest here, Skylar, I'm doing alright. That being said, no Halloween Fright Fest this year.
Really, really worth it being here in the room.
So I'm just doing a weird game onslaught,
and even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished,
number one,
here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Number one, I am gonna be rebranding as a rabbit.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy. and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
And number 2, on top of that,
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long
I'm
time
just
had
dealing with
passed
all
and
the
there was
tech
no more,
issues
he
and
decided
just
that the game was
lots
trying
of
to
other
send him a
crap
message.
going on, so... Yeah. Yep. Mainly because... Hey, Ari, how you doing? No, it's mostly because after the incident with Rexy Ronan, and with everything involving her, I started to realize that, you know what, to be frank, a lot of my channel has started to really just become, or rather, the Schrodinger Valentine name has started to become associated with a lot of, conflict and just drama and just a lot of nasty stuff. So, to explain what happened with the Rexy Ronan stuff, to give a brief synopsis, it turned out that she was not a good person. It's a she, Skylar. But yeah, it turned out she was not a good person. She would often make a lot of very unhinged and edgy jokes behind the scenes, like stuff I would never joke about ever in my life. Alright. Thanks, Nova. I'm currently standing here as I'm trying to explain everything. But yeah, on top of that, she also pulled that yandere stuff where she several times acted like a crazy yandere on my stream. She started a fight with G9 and several other viewers, and she blamed it all on, you know, not having antipsychotics that particular day, or, her disorders. But to be honest, based on a lot of what I've heard from her friends, um, it might be like, there might be, like, drugs involved, and stuff like that. Yeah.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Yeah, I know, Ari. Thanks, Harry, even though this is not my house, this is, the office building we work in. I really hope 2026 is better too. I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess you could
Look,
say.
Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been
But
about
yeah,
nothing
Skylar,
but you all this time.
there were a lot of things
There's
you did
someone
not
you've been
know
neglecting,
about.
Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Honestly, 2025 was just a bad year for everyone who was not an RWNJ nutcase, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, every normal person had problems in 2025. Not just the LGBTQ community, not just, you know, a few people, most people have problems in 2025, but I think that's getting a little too...
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here.
Oh,
I haven't even finished
damn!
building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for
Hell
nothing.
yeah!
Because this is what you wanted to see.
Nice.
Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours.
That's
What
awesome.
would have made this
Yeah.
game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stan. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version.
Yeah.
Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Yeah, it's really something. Like, he's come a long way. Oh? Oh, nice.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
The Stanley Parable Worldwide Leaderboard.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
No, I have not been talking with, Akiko at all.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
I
You
have
mind
been
taking a look at it,
speaking
would
with
you?
AC,
Perfect. Let me boot it up.
who is...
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will
no,
really
I have
take
not been
notice.
talking with,
But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience
Nova.
for me. I'm not even going
Even
to
though
try.
I was thinking of,
I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. Then again, you know, I am mostly just staying.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted, erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley, and it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
You know, as I was saying, you know, I'm not really interested in any, you know, relationships right now. Aw, Astro Bun. Mostly because... Yeah.
Oh, no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh.
Damn it.
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call.
It's blocked off.
You really wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There was any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Yeah, that's actually good.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun. Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought, and I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure,
Hell yeah.
then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball.
I know it's...
Yes. Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls!
Oh, damn! What?
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides,
Oh, nice!
you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you'd like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows?
Nah, it's
You're
fine.
an inventive kid. You'll come up with something.
But I'm
After
real
all,
liking the
you're
name,
the one who
Lunar
knows
Bun.
best. Take care, Stanley.
Alright.
Hold on. What are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Oh, this is kinda... Ah! This is somewhere straight out of Half-Life 2. Like, legit, when I played this back in 2024, yeah, Rocket Rabbit. That too. You know what? Yeah, I know. Ooh.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well,
All
perhaps
right.
he's
Good
gotten
night,
it.
Skylar.
Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned
right.
the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him.
See ya, Ari.
He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion.
Well, it's evening over
That's who
here
I
in
am.
Pennsylvania,
That is what I
so...
mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way.
All
Once this
right.
ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh,
Stanley
you're from
decided
the
to go
same
to the
state
meeting
as
room.
me?
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nova? Nova is from the same state as me? And Nova just said they're from PA. Did I read that correctly?
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Oh. Alright. Alright, Skylar. Yeah, I'm good. I was just, talking to someone in Discord.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013
Nova, it's
on home
nothing.
computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Yeah, I'm a strong, well,
Please
about to be
step
Banui.
inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
I don't get upset easily, is one thing you'll notice about me.
So far, it's an elevator. Nothing special here.
Like,
but I'm
okay,
sure it's just the beginning of a
I bawled my eyes
mesmerizing
out at the end
adventure.
of one shot, but if you ever watch,
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new
if you
content.
ever played
I've
one
never
shot,
been
you'll
more
understand.
Ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if, oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
The jump circle.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle. Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this
gonna
game
be...
are not positive. It's just elevators
Honestly,
and jump
GTA 6 I'm
Is this
really
what
nervous
passes
for because a
exciting
lot
new content?
of the
If this is new
OG
content,
people
then I could just
were
read through the whole
transferred around the
dictionary.
company
There's 20
to
hours of new content right there. Hell, I
different
could count to
places to
30
take to,
trillion.
so it's
You could put
kind
that
of
on the box.
like...
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait,
So I'm a little
there's more.
nervous
Very
if,
good.
you know,
Yes, I knew there had to be something else.
if this is a
Let's see
team
it.
that has a mix of
I'm
both
ready
old
for
and
whatever
new,
it is.
will be able to, you know, match the hype. Oh,
That's it?
come
Oh,
on!
you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion
I've
to
never
market
actually
for no
played
reason
Grand
other than
Theft
to make an
Auto.
easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In
Harry.
fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations.
But no, I've never played GTA.
If you're still with me,
most of the
why don't
games
we
I
just
play are
reset the
things
game,
like
and we'll try to
Bioshock,
get back to what the Stanley Parable
like
is really about.
Fallout,
No frills,
even though I don't really
no
stream
gimmicks,
it.
just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Oblivion, even though again I don't really stream that. I should when I get the new graphics card in.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, Oblivion is awesome. The original Oblivion's awesome.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new
Remastered is
Ultra
also
Deluxe
awesome.
content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be streaming it soon.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Oh, that would be awesome. Mods in Oblivion. Mods in Oblivion is all I'm gonna say.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every
Nova?
game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand
go
and
ahead.
all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It
I'll
was
answer
literally
any
every
and all
game
questions you
ever created.
have.
It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Person of the year. The old Stanley. Doing popular game challenges? I just stream whatever I find fun, if I'm gonna be totally honest with you.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone. To spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Or whatever I find popular. I don't really do things like, you know, big game challenges or... any of that.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Mostly.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness.
Nah.
This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to.
But
these black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
But yeah, as I was saying, you know, Yeah, I'm open to some ideas and suggestions.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is. So on and so forth, until inevitably,
Yeah, I
until
should.
end of time, at which time everything... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this. And
Once
whether
I have
they'll
my
edit
new
the
hard
rating of
drive
their Steam
in.
review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest...
Maybe.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really...
But yeah,
Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh my goodness.
honestly,
someone to talk to again. Stanley,
here's the thing about,
it's been a week.
Reviewing
Or 2
horror
weeks.
mods
I've
for,
been sitting here all that
and really
time,
any
just
mods for
sitting here,
Minecraft.
not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's
I'm
just
kind of staying
how
away
it's
from
always been,
Minecraft's
right?
content
Me
nowadays,
talking, you
mainly
saying nothing.
because
Would you think that it's exactly the same as always?
of the whole
Doesn't
Rexy
that
Ronin
feel like
stuff.
what we've already been doing? Me just talking? Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you.
Yeah.
To begin with,
Number one.
there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing.
If I'm gonna be completely honest about, Minecraft and all that jazz. For one thing, actually, the big bugaboo, the big thing. Nah, we're still good mostly. Off stream, we do not collab on stream for obvious reasons anymore. But for one thing with Minecraft, there was a Minecraft series we had not too long ago that it was ran by a guy named FNAF Team, who's kinda semi-retired from my team now, I guess you could say. And let's just say the series was just it was just not very good. Yeah. Like, I'll just straight up say it, it was not very good at all. And it often felt like just slop that I would do in between, you know, streams that were actually good and streams that I actually enjoyed. So that certainly did not help with ruining my...
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said...
Yeah, that kind of ruined my perception of Minecraft quite a bit. And then on top of that,
The end is never the end, 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 is
to
never
put
the
bluntly,
end, is
I
never
also
the
found
the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end,
he's doing okay.
end, is never the end, is never the...
But yes, on top of the whole issue of on top of the whole issue of, you know, um, the Minecraft series now Night Vale Prime turned out and how it got what was originally meant to be, you know, a series shared by all of us got twisted into one member's vanity project. On top of that, you know, there's the whole issue of Minecraft. What do I want to say here? Oh yeah, that's right. There's the whole issue of the anti-cheat. So I discovered a little while back that apparently Minecraft Bedrock has a computer killing anti-cheat that can actually fry your BIOS and do a whole bunch of nasty stuff to your computer. Yeah, I'm alright with snakes. But yeah, I actually lost several computers to this anti-cheat. The most notable of which is my Precision T3500 Razor. She died shortly after my first Minecraft stream on her. I used to have a snake as a pet. We had to sell him off, though, to finance my college. Yeah, Razor I got for cheap.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider. Yeah. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Yeah.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed
Nah,
for a
it's
few
fine.
moments
You don't have
with
to
some
feel
calming
bad.
new age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to... Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you.
No, I think that would be cool.
When it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more content, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game.
Yeah,
it's a secret.
I would think that's actually pretty cool.
That's how special you are. We call this track.
Even though, again,
good job, you've made it to the bottom
I
of
don't
the
really
mind
have any
control
neighbors.
facility.
I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Good job, you did it. Good job.
Unless you count, like, the other two houses next to mine, and the shop across the street as neighbors.
I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. Railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it.
Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it.
Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it.
But yeah, the closest I have to neighbors are a little repair shop across the street.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Two
Stanley
houses
decided
next
to go to the
me.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you. You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many
Taste
different
the
directions.
sequel.
This is what fans have truly been asking for.
By the way, though it may look like Source Engine, I think it is very important for me to note.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
But yeah, the difference between Ultra Deluxe, not Ultra Duck, what the hell? Ultra Deluxe and Base Stanley Parable is that Base Stanley Parable was originally made on Source Engine. Whereas Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is on Unity. And yes, I know Unity has been having some controversy as of late. Oh yeah, and if you are wondering why this stream might stutter a lot, that's because I have it set to 30 FPS. Just because my current graphics card freaks the hell out whenever I try to stream at 60. Yeah, it's a good game. They're back. The Fern!
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
I don't know. I say a good chunk of it is science. Athena, why ask? But no, I've never heard of an Athena before. Yep, Batman Arkham Asylum. Arkham City. Oh? Are they someone on VR chat? Thanks. Gonna be replaced by a bunny soon, but still.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
I think it's a shame that this year had to be the year.
You know what, Stanley? I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
Yeah. I don't remember Athena, though. Ooh.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
This gives me just mega 2010s Expo vibes, and I love it.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
BioShock is my favorite game of all time. Harry.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
BioShock is my #1 fave, which I do have some streams of. They're really early on my VOD, and some of the sound had to be censored because of
that it was confusing and paradoxical.
Sony.
That it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair,
Nix!
must
How you
already be
doing?
sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more awaits you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Yeah, eventually.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
It's been a while since I've seen ya. How you doing?
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Wait a minute. Nix? Nova? Nova, why did you just speak for Nix? I was asking Nix.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen. What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Hey, Nix. Do you know anyone named Kai the Axolotl?
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, A hole that you can fall down forever. That's right.
Same goes for you,
Infinite
Nova.
falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Just curious.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Great! Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now. Did you really need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole.
But yeah,
it's
Kai
exactly what you're doing right now,
was
but
my,
forever. There really are so many other
accent he had
fascinating exhibits
to
that
all
I've prepared for
accounts
you.
he would
I really
use.
spent quite a lot of time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and press that teleport button again, so we can get back to what's really important about... Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing, Stanley. I'll be honest with you. I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole long enough to hit the bottom. Yes, I know, I told you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who actually wants to fall forever? The hole was plenty deep. It was more than deep enough, in my opinion. Maybe it's you who likes falling too much. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite?
Alright, good.
If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up
That
here
earlier
already.
made me a little bit scared. But, yeah. No, I trust you guys.
Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent
thanks
a
for
little less
sub,
time
my
in there than you did before. I mean,
alerts hardly
admittedly,
ever go
I
off.
didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow, okay, yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
Alright.
Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again.
Come on.
Still nothing? Well, I suppose
Yeah.
there's one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
What the? What the fuck? What's this? It's growing deeper. And deeper.
My head's strong.
Stanley? Stanley! Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things,
The
you and I
hole.
will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
The hole.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Let's see. How many days do we have? Yeah. So I've been thinking, how many days do we have? Because, so, today's October 23rd. It's about to be the 24th. And tomorrow I might or might not stream, depending on my mental state and all that. Next week will be a full week of just hitting it very hard. Until Halloween, because that's how long I'm doing the Halloween-a-thon. The weird game-a-thon, I guess. But yeah, the first. So, therefore, 24, 25, 26. That doesn't leave too much time. So, and also 2 of them are gonna be pre-records. I could do the pre-records tomorrow. Get those edited and up on my channel. And then after that, we could then do the some of the VR chat maps. You know, if everything's working.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself,
Alright, good night,
what do
Nova.
players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name,
My
whatever name
parents
that
are
is.
very
Here,
traditionalist,
let's have
so they
you
don't
role play as
like it
Jim to
when
really simulate the full
I
experience of
stream
this feature.
on
Just play along.
holidays,
I promise you'll
particularly.
love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim.
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim, staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim, developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim, rediscovering yourself through fringe religious groups as Jim, and finally, dying a slow death at an old age, surrounded by members of your cult as Jim. Do you feel it in your soul? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a
I
rush! That was you!
much
The button
rather have a
described you.
desktop
Do it again,
for
do it again.
Christmas. To be honest.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Especially because my current PC is just a Dell. A military surplus Dell that I just
I suppose I
stuck
could allow only people named Jim to
barely
play the Stanley
functional
Parable
graphics
2.
card
That
in.
would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Let's check. Does it work? like the design for this.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines.
I have a
And
Staples
what's truly
office
innovative
chair.
is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the
I used to have a
intrinsic
gaming
joy of
chair,
watching
though.
a number go
It
up.
broke.
You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
And also, I like this old keyboard. Come on.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Yeah. Let's see. Do I have a crush? Do I have a crush on... Not right now, no. I'm still very, very single. In fact, I haven't thought about another guy or girl in my life and probably since earlier this year. There's the merch. I'm wearing One Piece merch right now. Trafalgar Law hoodie.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Damn right. This is my jam.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Here it is. I give
I'll
you
definitely find
the
someone
Stanley
eventually.
Parable 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original.
So
Wait,
that
maybe
malfunction
that's it. I can
confirms
take
my
the
original
Stanley Parable
theory.
and simply, well, insert a few of my new features.
Yeah,
into
the
it.
OBS
Tastefully,
problem
of
confirms
course.
my original
With respect.
theory
With care for the vision and
that
integrity
there's
of the
something
original
with Stanley
game.
Parable
Would it
itself
possibly work?
that OBS
I
just
suppose it
doesn't
could,
like.
but it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with
Probably
bold
related
and
to the
uncompromising
hundreds of bugs
conviction,
with Unity.
This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Because the Unity engine is just... Alright. Let's see, how long should I continue streaming tonight? Stanley Parable is a game, but it is, you know, a game that talks about, like, story, narrative, and a lot of other very important things about, you know, video games as a whole. And especially right now, delves deep into, you know, the nature of remakes and sequels with the Stanley Parable 2.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard.
Yeah.
Orders came to him through a monitor at his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long
I'll
to push
probably
them, and
continue
what order.
streaming for...
This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul,
You know what, until 12
Stanley
a.m.
relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley
Yeah, I think that's a
was
good length.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid,
I like the new
Stanley found himself
computer.
unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
So what time is it for me? It is...
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealous. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now.
Yeah, I've
It's a
watched a
bucket.
lot of
It
Nostalgia
belongs in a
Critic.
broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies.
It is 11:24 p.m. right now.
Don't
by the
hand
way.
over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no, we're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years.
Yeah,
Let them have it.
I think this...
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Yeah, I think the CPU
All right, I've got a
is
second sticker back
definitely-
here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker. You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment, and to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies, easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
But yeah, there are some old games that I do miss playing. For one thing,
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication
Undertale,
of any human life.
I definitely
Crushed by
miss
the weight of
Undertale
this
a little bit.
revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always.
Once I have the new graphics card, I'm gonna remake a lot of my old
The two
streams,
of them were
though.
inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual
Especially
connection he
the
shared
ones
with the
that
bucket
use my
that he
old
didn't notice the
mic,
keypad behind the
because
boss's desk. Nor
the old
his
mic it
bliss
used
of
to have
simply
back
being
then.
near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
But yeah, there's a lot of old, yeah, I'm gonna definitely remake a lot of old streams. Except for Undertale Green. Undertale Green is just... good lord, that game.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this
Just
darkest moment of
watch
uncertainty,
my
he would be all right.
Undertale Green
The bucket
streams
is
and you'll
here for you,
understand
Stanley.
why I hate it.
Everything will be fine.
Compared to the original Undertale.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end... But of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself?
Uh-oh.
How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Oh!
Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
It's birds.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the
Macaws!
world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Yeah. I love birds. I used to have a pet bird.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and this was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that
it was
the
an
employee
Andy
lounge
Conure.
was simply the place to be.
Unfortunately, I had pneumonia when we got it,
And here it
felt
was.
very
Had the
quickly.
bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Okay. This is a little creepy.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping in,
Guys. But yeah, And then I had a cat, but they did not die of, well, any natural means, shall we say. Rather, they kind of died of, poisoning-related issues with the water. Yeah. You are now leaving. Yeah. Alright, Bucket. Ready to be shot to space. Yep.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. Then the feeling went away, and he felt sad again. Then it came back, and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there. Just a kind of, tingle. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Let's see.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Oh crap.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do.
Gene.
Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Lost Cat Gene. I always wondered the significance of that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Oh, that's interesting.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, not really.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Oh?
Okay, this is day number 295. Take number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it.
Yes.
Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Yeah, there's an
What could it
entire, like,
Stanley
bucket
decided to go to the meeting room.
lore
Perhaps
in
he had
this
simply
game.
missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Stairs. Something to do with...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
Alright, time to... Another input.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation,
Alright, we'll do
Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster
this
fire
last...
if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
All right. So I'm gonna stretch a little bit. There we go. But yeah, we're gonna do this ending
Stanley
here
and the bucket
with all
walked
the
straight
bucket
ahead through the
lore.
large door that read Mind Control Facility.
And
Although
then
this
we're going
passageway had the word
to,
escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket
after
would
doing all the
both meet a
bucket
violent
lore,
death.
we're going to go and
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this
collect
point,
the
Stanley and the bucket were
remaining.
knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Yeah, we're gonna go collect the remaining Stanley figurines.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
But yeah, this game is probably one of the most fun ones I have on the channel.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
You're standing on the precipice of knowledge, much like a bucket itself. Much like the bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within a cavernous void. But through the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Yeah, the bucket lore gets very deep in this game. Yeah, not a lot of people do watch it, but
Can
it
you see
is,
how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like
but it
this
is
and
one
to
of
claim it
the
for his
most.
own?
It
Can
is
you see the
probably
hubris
some of the
that
best fun
blinded
I've
him?
had,
Can you
even though
see
not
that
a
the
whole lot of
bucket
people
is
have
far
watched
more
these
noble than
streams.
Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Because again, I do it for fun, you know, and even if a game doesn't do well, like Stanley Parable wasn't exactly, you know, one of the most viewed games on my streams, I still had a whole hell of a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Buckets. Yeah, there's a...
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right
The
this terrible wrong.
bucket lore just...
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision for...
Alright, so...
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. As soon as Stanley noticed that the door to his office was still open, he rushed in with his bucket and shut the door. The pressure of going out and finding another bucket variant on one of the Stanley Parable's classic endings was simply too much for him. "It's nothing but swapped-out dialogue describing a bucket," he screamed to himself. "It's not nearly different enough to be considered a true sequel." No, he would stay right here in his office where things were safe, familiar.
Hey Parker,
If
how you
others were
doing?
happy with the bucket endings, well,
It's been so
good
long.
for them. But Stanley knew that one day, somehow, a true sequel would emerge
Welcome
with
back.
actual new content. If only he had waited long enough. Just a little longer, Stanley. Keep waiting. You'll get it one day, surely. Eventually. Just keep waiting. Just a little longer now.
Welcome back. Alright.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Yeah.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Yeah.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley,
There's been a lot that's happened since you,
I'm not your
left
enemy,
Parker.
really, I'm not. I realize that
One
investing
thing you
your
probably
trust in
heard
someone
this,
else
but
can be difficult.
I'm,
But the
single
fact
now.
is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that
FNAF
a job
team
well
tried
done
to-
is its own reward.
Well, I'll
I
explain in
would tell you that I'm
DMs
proud of
after
you for collecting them all, but that would
stream.
be like
There's
a
a
reward,
lot I have to
and we
go
can't have
over
that.
with
So,
you.
instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell
Hell
you were
yeah,
doing before
yep.
you hunted for figurines. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy.
And
I
Kai,
actually feel happy.
I have no words to describe him. Yep.
No, wait. Where are you going? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley. No! Oh, no. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask.
Yeah,
Looks
she
like you wanted to
was
make a choice
like
after
the
all.
big thing with Rexy, the
Well,
big
this
thing
one
with
is not.
her. The big thing with Rexy, and yeah, once again, this game is confirming that there's definitely some kind of weird, crappy crap going on with,
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Yeah, that will happen sometimes when it disconnects. Is it fine now? This computer's really rickety and old, okay? Like, a lot of crap is wrong with it. And though most systems...
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines.
Yeah.
Just one more time.
I think what happens is... well, there's several things that happen. Number one, this graphics card's encoder is all screwed up because the GPU itself is screwed up. It got damaged in shipping. Number two, on top of that, I don't know why, but this game in particular seems to cause issues with,
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley. And here was a second Stanley. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember? No. The warehouse was the 4th place you found a Figanley, not the 3rd. Well, I guess perhaps I shouldn't be surprised. Memories like these are so precious and so cherished that they all just sort of blend together, don't they? You know what? If the warehouse feels like the 3rd place you found a collectible, then who am I to go making judgments? Let's see. What came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Sister whispering. And number 2, and more importantly,
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was under the stairs. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy. takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
I want those to be back too.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
So wonderful. But yeah, the reason it cuts out, as I was trying to explain earlier, is number one, graphics issue, and number two, on top of that, there is also, I don't know, this motherboard just has some weird quirks with it, probably. Also, this game, too, has some stuff that makes...
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone. No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels. Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Yep.
Yes, I love that video. Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Some of these sounds are rather creepy.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this? Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Oh, yes, the two doors! Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley?
Yep.
Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
All right.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I wonder if there's a variant of...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Alright. I was, of a sudden. Alright.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Let's see.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
This is a rip on Half-Life 3, by the way, if any of you know what that is.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the button. Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator. Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly. No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
Very tough crowd, that bucket.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator. Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
One final time. This is the final ending we'll be doing for tonight before I sign off. As for tomorrow's,
Said Stanley. I know what to do.
I'll
I know
explain
how
at
to
the end of
fully
the stream,
express
Harry.
this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work. For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life. This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One
Hey, up
opportunity
fan,
to
how
share
you
a
doing?
true connection with a loved one.
Just finishing up my stream of Stanley Parable here.
There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure, and in that moment Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Alright. There we go. Um. So that's pretty much it for this stream. I'm gonna be honest here, revisiting Stanley Parable felt very good. A Stanley Parable is definitely one of my games of all time, and probably one of the things that really defined the era that was early 2024, Schrodinger Valentine, to be honest. And to bring it back, even if it was part of, this big event that I have in place of, normal, Halloween Fright Fest due to issues with Halloween Fright Fest itself, mostly the fact that I have no real viable desktops aside from a Dell that has a semi-defective GPU. Um, it's really good to be playing this again. Um, I might play this a couple more days, maybe, over the next week or so, because, I got a couple days before Halloween. Um, but tomorrow, I will start recording for Trails from Off Peak City. Or Tales of Off Peak City. Not Trails. Tales from Off Peak City, I mean. Um, yeah, that will be happening tomorrow. And then over the next few weeks, or rather over the next week, we will also have a Dream Barbecue, maybe. Um, maybe a couple, Bizarro, VR chat maps, maybe some Scarebrand land, maybe that sort of jazz. Our own little Halloween party that isn't quite as good as, Full Halloween Fright Fest, but it's still, decent enough. That's pretty much what I'm aiming for here. So, yeah. But, anywho, I gotta get going. I can't sit forever. You pretty much know the drill, so, thank you all for watching this, wonderful stream, wonderful day, night, week, whatever. And I will see ya all sometime next week, probably on Monday. So yeah. Good night, everyone. Stay classy, everyone, and good night. And I will see y'all next week for whatever we have planned then. So yeah. See ya there, everyone.